right, welcome to Amka Kenya, and of course, this is the time when we get to Amka Politalks. Now, he is a man that has been termed as the sobriety needed in Kenya's political scene. We're talking about David Kenani Maraga, who is the former Chief Justice here in the country. He joins me this morning to lay bare when it comes to his ambitions for the presidency and also state of affairs here in the country. What are his thoughts? What does he think we are headed as a nation? Thank you so much for making time.
Thank you. Thank you, Brian. Thank you for having me.
All right.
Yes.
You woke up well?
Very well, thank you.
All right. Let me start with this one because it's already out there. You've done quite a number of interviews. You've been on TV. You've been interviewed. Stories have been written, and it's open that you're running for office. But why David Maraga? Why do you feel like you're the right fit to unseat President William Ruto?
Yes. Thank you, Brian, for that question. Just before I come directly to that question, look at what is happening in the country. Look at what is happening in the country. The country, as we are getting into a failed state. We are getting into a failed state. There is a political and economic crisis in the country that requires to be addressed and addressed squarely. We have never had in a peaceful state where you have over 60 people dying in 1 month. You haven't had in a peaceful state, a democratic state, where the right to picket, which is in the Constitution, is cramped upon, and those who are picketing, instead of addressing their issues, you want to silence them, and you want to kidnap them, you want to kill them. We have not had in a peaceful state, or in any state for that matter, a president issuing orders to shoot. I know he said you shoot on the leg.
Yeah.
How many people have been shot on the leg and they have died?
So the shooting on the leg is still fatal?
Of course. Some cases have ended in fatality. And even if it doesn't end in fatality, a president to order the shooting of people? Why? Because these people are considered arsonists. And instead of dealing with that case, now they are they are taking those young people as terrorists. You know, terrorism is a very, very serious offense. Very serious offense. It's an offense in most cases which involves explosives. What explosives did these young people have? What weapons did they have? Nothing at all. This should have been charged with simple arson or destruction of property, if at all they committed those offenses.
When you appeared at the Kahawa law courts, in defense, in solidarity with the people that were arrested and charged with terrorism, you said we are looking at a state that is using terrorism laws and charges to be able to stifle dissent in the country and actually suppress the rights of the young people to express themselves.
Yes.
And you said, we will not allow this to continue. How?
You know, what the country is, instead of, the country is actually using the terrorist law to terrorize the young people and their families. Those young people, when we were at Kawa, there was an argument as to where they should be kept in custody. And they were taken to committee maximum prison. They are being held with hardcore criminals, and you are radicalizing these children. Nobody cares about that. The stigmatization of those young people is very serious. So we are saying this is a country, or this is a government which has lost it. It wants to terrorize people, use those offenses so that they can be denied bail or a bond.
Okay.
Because you see, the sentence for terrorism is up to 30 years.
Okay, now my question was this, because from the words that you actually used during that particular presser that you're actually issuing on that particular day, you said, we will not allow this to happen. Now, a lot of people that have been charged with that will be looking at David Maraga and say, the former CJ did promise that, to some extent, this will not continue. Yet you're seeing more people
will be
actually
there.
being
We will
arrested.
be there with those young people. We will be there in solidarity with them and protest that this is not right. This is not right. Mm-hmm. If somebody has committed an offense, if I've committed theft, I shouldn't be charged with terrorism. Okay. Yeah? This is a government which has lost it, and it wants to make sure that it clamps down on any dissent. In other words, the government wants to, when it says this, people say, that is what we follow. Okay. This is a government which has now turned the police force, instead of being utumishi kwa wote, is now utumishi kwa wana wakubwa. Wana wakubwa.
You continue to criticize the political class, you know, for undermining the rule of law, just like you're putting it right now. From your view, or rather, from where you sit, do you believe that Kenya is a failed democracy, or are we a captured state?
Both. We are failing as a democracy, and this is a captured state. Why are we saying captured? I have told you about parliament. The police, how they are just being used, or misused to keep those who are in power to remain in power. Mm-hmm. The police are supposed to be independent. The DPP is supposed to be independent. Now they have been captured, and they're just singing the tune of those in power. When you talk about failed democracy, when you don't have respect for human rights, what do you call a state like that? Those who oppose you, you kidnap them, you kill them, some of them, you maim some of them. That's not a democracy. And all these young people were protesting against is the cost of living, is the finance bill, is the university funding model. And in short, what they were saying is implement the constitution. Okay. The government doesn't want to do any of those. Instead,
why is the government afraid of implementing the constitution?
If it failed, let me tell you why this is happening. Kenya is a democracy, just like very many other countries in Africa are democracies.
But a failing democracy.
Wait a minute. Yeah. Democracy. Yeah. But those in power, and this is started soon after independence, came and started a system that on paper is a democracy, but in actual practice, it is not a democracy. It started with independence with what I can call primitive accumulation. Those in power use their positions in power to steal from the public. We call that an extractive system. A system where people fight to go into power so that they can steal public resources. Instead of being an inclusive society where you know that these resources which have been put in your hands are for everybody, and you have an inclusive state, they start that. And that has ended, now gone on and on and on, and it has reached a stage where if we keep quiet, somebody will come and tell you, get out of here. This is my Utatu, get out of here. They just wanted to amass and take everything without caring about the interests of others. So, and this is what the Kenyans are protesting against. Let me tell you, the young people are courageous enough to stand up. I can assure you that their parents are behind them. I can assure you very many other people, those who are fair, are behind those young people.
Okay. Just to digress a little bit, he said their parents are behind them. The president yesterday did say, you really need to raise your kids because you cannot leave the kids to be raised by the state or the police. The police are there to maintain law and order, not to raise your kids and all that. And the tagline that, TV stations were running yesterday night, including K24, was, Rais anasema, asiyefunza na mama hufunza na ulimwengu. Is that a justification for whatever is happening in the country, that the parents have failed?
If you have raised your children well, you raise them and tell them to go and stay hungry. You raise them and tell them to go and study. When they come, they are not being given, fair opportunity to get employment. That's not raising children well. These are side shows that are comforting the problem that we face. Okay, there may be a few cases where children have not been raised well. But you want to tell me the entire, Gen Z generation in Kenya have not been raised well? Those are side shows.
Okay.
Let the country face the problem. Let the government face the problem that is facing the country.
The government, you believe, is running away from facing the main issue that is affecting the country. Do you believe that?
Sorry?
Do you believe that the government is running away from facing the main issue that is affecting the country and the young people?
Of course, yes, they are running away. They are running away from the plunders they have caused into this country. Look at, I have talked about the university funding model. Look at healthcare. They have just messed. Everything is gone haywire.
Okay.
So as a result of that, and all this is coming as a result of mismanagement of the affairs of state, mismanagement of the resources that have been put in the hands of the government, and to cover that, they don't want anybody to raise a question.
Okay.
When you raise a question, they want to cramp down on you with all the force they can.
With all the force they can, when you raise a question. And I want to take feedback, but from that particular point, your security the other time had actually been withdrawn. Has it been reinstated?
It has been reinstated.
Okay. What did it take for it to be reinstated?
We protested. I wrote and I put it in the public, and I think they realized the impact that was doing, and this is my right, so they restored it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Let us take a little bit of feedback on what you're saying on this particular conversation, power, politics, and principle, with former CJ, that is David Maraga. The question you're asking to this particular morning, I almost say tonight, is what is your understanding of the term terrorism? What is your understanding of the term terrorism? Let's take a look at what you're saying in regards to this. Because terrorism is the use of violence or threats to create fear, mostly for political or ideological purposes. It's not just about bombs or attacks. It's about instilling fear and disrupting peace. That is Maureen from Nairobi. Thank you, Maureen. Kevin from Eldoret says, to me, terrorism means using fear as a weapon. It could be against a government, a community, or even a religion. It's more about controlling people through chaos. That is Kevin from Eldoret. Thank you. Brian from Kisumu, I see terrorism as an act of war disguised as activism. Terrorism hides behind causes, but it's really about destruction and power through fear. Amina from Mombasa says terrorism is when a group of individuals causes harm to innocent people to push a political or religious agenda. It's cruel because it targets those who have nothing to do with the conflict. Right now, charges of terrorism have actually been on the rise. The latest one being, the one that happened over the weekend, and that has to do with Boniface Mwangi. And you've spoken about that, of course, as we started this conversation. Just to touch on some of the feedback that we're getting here, we really haven't gotten to a point where we are a state of terror, are we?
No, nothing like that. Boniface Mwangi has been an activist for a long time. What has he done to cause fear to the state and to the people of Kenya, other than being a human activist, saying you're doing the wrong thing? He's now being arrested and charged with terror.
Okay.
I've not heard. I don't know what charges are being brought against him. I don't know whether he was involved in the. Because those who were charged earlier were said to be involved in the burning down of state property, police stations and others. I don't know if Mwangi was there. I don't know what charges he is facing. But what I know is that he has been a human rights activist for a long time with many others.
Okay.
Yes.
Back to my initial question and I had asked before, we gave a background on what exactly is happening in the country. Why David Maraga? You paint out a picture, you looked at the kind of state that we live in. They said, in terms of democracy, we are a failing democracy. We are a captured state.
Yes. Thank you very much. Yeah. This is started, you know what happened in June 2024?
Yeah.
I knew many things were going wrong, and I thought somebody was going to do something about that. Then came June 2024. The youths are saying, look, the cost of living has gone high. You have messed up with the funding model. You're not giving health care. And they protested and went to parliament. After that, I got quite worried at the number of young people who were killed. And of course, it was the conversation of every Kenyan. Okay. So I was worried myself, and the friends I talked to were also worried. Then as the conversation goes, and I'm sure you were all talking, somebody said, look, something must be done. What is that should be done? We must change this government. Then somebody comes and says, Maraga, why don't you think about that? I said, no, that is impossible. How can I do it? Eh? I am told to run for presidency, you need more than 10 million shillings, 10 billion shillings. And I said, I don't have that kind of money, and I don't think I can do that. Furthermore, wait, give me a minute. Okay. I am not a politician, and I can't go on. The friends said, no, where we have reached, we don't need a politician. We need a leader. And we think you are the person who should come. I asked why. They said, look, you stood firm, the Kenyans know. You nullified the 2017 presidential election. You gave an advisory to the president to dissolve parliament. You have stood firm. You are a man of integrity. You have even sworn that you have never taken a bribe. And these are the things which are ailing the country. We think you are the person. Then I said, look, where are we going to get the funding? They said, no, the funding should be the list of your problems. Okay. The Kenyans will raise the funds, and you be elected. I was convinced that can the Kenyans can do that. It has been done in the US and other countries. So I came up. And I think, given an opportunity, we want to reset the country back to the rule of law, where everybody obeys the law, including the president, where the president is not giving wild orders that are causing havoc, and the police especially, to know that they are there to protect the people, not to harm them. To make sure that the institutions that we have run and the Constitution is respected. The other thing we want to do is to restore dignity to the human people, to the Kenyan people. We have said people are being arrested for frivolous charges and kept in custody. Some of them go on for years. When the cases are eventually finished, they are acquitted. We have just talked about terrorism. We have talked about the kidnapping. Have you ever had a country where there's kidnap of its people, some of them ending up in death, and the president stands up and says, yes, there has been kidnaps, but we are stopping this.
If we continue...
Wait a minute, okay. We are stopping this. Okay. So, you see all this, and you see the justification why we need somebody who can get the country back to the 2010 Constitution and the aspirations of the people and the dreams of the people that the Constitution has, so that people can respect the law. The Constitution can be implemented, free education be given as it is provided for, free health care be taken care of, so that people are handled as human beings. Okay. So that you don't have the government resources serving just a few in the country. Then we also need to rebuild our economy. It is in total ruin. It is in total ruin. Okay. We used to have industrialization in Kenya. Very reasonable. That one is going away. The farming, our farmers can't even produce for subsistence, leave alone what they can sell. So we need to rebuild the economy so that young people can get jobs instead of exporting them to go and work like slaves in foreign countries. We need to rebuild our economy. Mm-hmm. Kenya is a great nation. My friend, when you talk to foreigners, they sympathize with us. How a great nation like this, mm-hmm. how people, learned people in a great nation like this can just watch and see things going wrong and do nothing. Okay,
you talked about resetting, and I'd like to believe where exactly do we start when it comes to resetting? Once you take power, how do we go back and start afresh? Do we overhaul all the systems that we have? Because to some extent we believe that most systems are actually compromised. Or which will be the first point of this conversation of resetting a nation?
Thank you very much for that question. I said resetting is going back to the constitutional principles, to the Constitution itself. We don't need to do anything. The Constitution is one of the best constitutions we have in the world. Is to tell the police, your work is to fight crime, mm-hmm. And protect the people. It's not to use the police to terrorize people. I would stop that immediately. The other major problem that we have is corruption. You have budget done, and millions, hundreds of millions of shillings, mm-hmm. Is given to what? Non-existent schools. You know where that ends. Yeah. You know where that ends. Wastage. Stop wastage. If we stop wastage and control, you can't eliminate corruption all at once, and control corruption, we will have enough resources to deal with the challenges we have. Do you know where the public debt has reached now? It is 82 shillings for every 100 shillings that we produce. Mm-hmm. That is going to pay debt. Where are we going to get money for development? Leave alone money for even recurrent expenditure when we are doing that. And you know, you've been in this country. Public debt has gone haywire from 2013. Mm-hmm. It has risen to unimaginable levels that unless we take care, Kenya is going to default. And if it defaults, you will see what you have never seen. So what I'm saying with resetting is to ensure that everybody, institutions obey the law, institutions are controlled by the law, so that nobody can act with impunity. Then you now run the affairs. That's what the Constitution requires. Okay. And the moment you get the Constitutions operating, being implemented, things will come back to where they are supposed to be.
All right. Former Chief Justice David Maraga, of course, presidential hopeful. We do want to take a break here on Amka Politalks. Amka Kenya, of course, continue engaging us on our socials at K24 TV across social media platforms. We'll be sampling your feedback as we continue with the program this morning. And the question you're asking, what is your understanding of the word terrorism? What is your understanding of the word terrorism? I take a break. I'll be back in a few.